How many of you all know and enjoy the songs Fly Me to the Moon and The Way You Look Tonight? If not, how about the songs My Way and I've Got You Under My Skin? These are just popular songs with the famous Italian-American singer Frank Sinatra. Today I'm going to discuss with you all the life of Frank Sinatra, who he was, and his impact and influence he had on his fans, and Italian Americans specifically. As many of you all know, music can be a huge aspect for someone's culture. The artists of these songs that they love become a sort of idol or legend to the culture. The artists and their music basically brings everyone in a culture together. One of those people for Italian culture was Frank Sinatra. Everyone, this is going to be who Frank Sinatra was, starting with his early life and a look into his music career and how it began. First, we should talk about the early life of Frank Sinatra and where it all started. Frank Sinatra was born on December 12, 1915 in Hoboken, New Jersey, to his two Italian immigrant parents, and unfortunately did not have a good childhood life. In the article, The Kid from Hoboken, the author Karen Schomer talks about how his father was a fireman and his mother was a political aspirant and more. Schomer also goes on to discuss how Sinatra had dropped out of high school at the age of 15 due to the feeling of isolation. According to the Virginia Quarterly Review, Sinatra's life was filled with a sense of loneliness. The article discusses how Sinatra had wished he had a sibling, how his parents had to work long hours, and how his parents even wanted a daughter instead of him. This didn't influence Sinatra, though, to want to play music to get his parents' attention, especially his mother's. Once again, Karen Schomer, author of The Kid from Hoboken, goes on to say, his mother pulled strings to help him get a gig at a popular Jersey nightclub called the Rustic Cabin. Band leader Harry James heard him on the radio and signed him up in 1939. Sinatra actually ended up switching labels and leaders and went to Tommy Dorsey after Harry James, but in the end switched to a solo act by the year of 1942. Now, that was the early life of Frank Sinatra and how his music career began. Next, we will take a look at how his career skyrocketed and the impact he had on his fans. Sinatra had grown as an artist, and so did his popularity. The impact his music and himself had on his fans was something really beautiful. Sinatra's career had skyrocketed quickly. Sinatra had gone in many concerts that were filled and many TV show appearances. Mikhail Gilmer, author of An Appreciation of Frank Sinatra 1915 to 1998, goes on to discuss how Sinatra had changed American music and even gave hope for American music by saying, even so, many observers could see that Sinatra's sudden and immense popularity would change American music. Now, when people say that music has helped them heal and helped them not feel so low and alone at some points in their life, it's very much true. Now, I'm speaking that from experience too. But Jay Cox, the author of Put Your Dreams Away, explains that feeling between the artist and their listeners very well when describing how he feels with Sinatra's music. Cox goes on and says, he made everything he sang matter so much. He passed songs along like pieces of a shared life, an intimacy between himself and whoever was listening. You could play a Sinatra album all alone or hear him in a stadium. Either way, it was always the same, a one-on-one experience. The song, a shared secret between the artist and you, only you. The author of Francophilia, David Lehman, captures the type of artist and person Frank Sinatra was to his fans perfectly in only a couple of words. The author continues and says, it is difficult to write about Sinatra not only because a million other guys have the same ambition and gallons of ink have already been spilled, but because he was more than a singer. The author goes on and discusses what he stood for as well afterwards. Everyone, we have spent some time together today to learn about who Frank Sinatra was and how he impacted his fans, starting with his childhood life to his life during his music career. Frank Sinatra was one of the biggest artists out there during that time in America. There are many Italian American artists that would choose to just go by as an American artist, but Sinatra chose to represent and embrace his Italian side and went by an Italian American artist. His music and the type of person he was will always be an inspiration to his fans and more.